Hi everybody, it's Rebecca Virginia, and today I'm going to be showing you some fall DIYs that are going to look great displayed in your kitchen. Let's get started. The first DIY in today's video is a fall sign using one of the cutting boards from the Dollar Tree. Here are all of the other supplies that you'll need to recreate this project. So I am starting off this DIY by taking the color Pumpkin from Waverly and one of the white cutting boards from the Dollar Tree. And on the lower half, I'm going to be painting our cutting board using this really pretty orange color. And I did end up doing 2 coats of this orange shade. Because the cutting board is plastic, you really want to wait for the first coat to completely dry before you go in with the second coat. Otherwise, the paint will just start slipping and sliding off of the plastic cutting board. And I'm trying to make the cutting board look like a pumpkin, so this handle part of the cutting board is going to be our pumpkin stem. So I'm going in with a dark brown color and just covering the top part. And here you can really see how difficult it is to paint on the plastic. So I waited for each layer to dry and went in with 2 layers of that. On the top part of our pumpkin, I'm going to be making a double bow. So I took 1 piece of this burlap ribbon and cut it a little bit smaller, and then a second piece a little bit longer. And I essentially make a circle out of it, and then I pinch together the center section and have my bow. When I'm combining them, I'm going to lay them on top of each other and pinch them down. Then kind of fluff up the edges of the bow before tying it together with a piece of jute. And my bow section is done, but I have to make the tails of the bow. So how I do this is actually separate from making the bow part. So I take another longer piece of this burlap ribbon and cut it off. And with some of those tails of the jute still in place, I basically just flatten out this section of burlap ribbon. And this ribbon has a wire in it, so it's a lot easier to work with. You can really shape it. And then once I have my tail nice and flat, how I like it, I am going to add it to the back part of the bow and knot around the jute so that the tail is now attached to our bow. Once the bow was complete, I took a pair of scissors and just trimmed down the tails and cut it at an angle, so it turned into a nice pretty bow. Now is both the fun part and the difficult part because it is figuring out how to style this. So I grabbed some leaves and thought that I liked the bow at an angle with the leaves poking through. Then I ended up changing my mind and putting the bow actually in the center. I also thought that maybe I would add a pumpkin to the bottom. This is the part where I do not use glue or, put anything down permanently. I am basically just figuring out how I want to style this cutting board. And I decided that I liked the bow in the center best, so I grabbed this section of leaves and I'm hot gluing that to the top of our cutting board and figuring out what leaf position I like best before hot gluing down my burlap bow to the center handle section. I used my cutting machine to cut out this cute Good Morning pumpkin decal and place that in the center of my cutting board. The Dollar Tree currently has out the cutest selection of fall stickers. I loved this trio of pumpkins and thought it fit with the saying. So I went ahead and just pressed down that sticker in the bottom center of our cutting board. There are about 5 or 6 different sticker sheets that I've seen the Dollar Tree put out for fall, and they are all so cute, so be sure to check out your seasonal section for these stickers because there are lots of different ways that you can use them. The next fall DIY transforms an old glass bottle into an adorable, thankful floral vase. Here are the supplies you'll need to make this. This glass bottle is one that actually held lemonade, and I just washed it out and I'm repurposing it for some crafts. All that I did was take one of these sponge brushes from the Dollar Tree and some Waverly white chalk paint, and I'm completely covering the bottle, and it's kind of starting to look like a milk bottle now, but I really like the farmhouse feel that the white color is giving to our small bottle. I've also seen bottles in this shape at the Dollar Tree. Some of them are just for display and you can find it in the glassware section, but also the Dollar Tree has iced coffees that are not only delicious, but a really great bottle shape similar to this one. Next, I am taking one of my most used craft supplies, and that is jute or twine, and I hot glued the end of it to our bottle, but then after that, you don't really need to add any more hot glue. You can just wrap the jute around and around and it'll stay in place. The only thing that I kind of did is if it got too many gaps in it or too much room, I would just push it towards the top. But I'm going to be covering the entire top section of this bottle in the jute, and then I just hot glued it at the end to secure it in place. Just like I did to the top of the bottle, I am covering the bottom also in jute, but on this one I'm not going to be using nearly as much as I did up top. I'm only going to go around about 4 or 5 times, doing the same thing, just securing the ends in hot glue on both where we started and where we're ending. And now it's time to start embellishing our bottle. Like I said earlier, the Dollar Tree has out such cute fall stickers. These are some of my favorites. I think they're so cute. And I ended up using this cheetah or leopard collection again. I really liked this plain pumpkin sticker, so I went ahead and placed that down in the center of the bottle. I also used my cutting machine to cut out the word thankful using some black vinyl. So I went ahead and placed that above the pumpkin as the finishing touch to this jar. I added some florals to embellish this jar, but I also think it would be really cute in the kitchen next to a coffee machine filled with some coffee stirrers or some pretty decorative straws. The next DIY takes our fall kitchen theme quite literally because we are making little mini fall themed rolling pins. Here's what you need to recreate it. This next DIY is going to be using 2 of these wood rolling pins. I got 4 in a set for $5 at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be covering the actual rolling part of our pin, but for the handles, the first one I am painting, it's called Agave by Waverly Chalk Paint, and then the second rolling pin, I am using Territorial Beige from Apple Barrel. And I just showed you these really awesome tear-off palettes that the Crafters Square section came out with. You get 15 of these tear-off palettes for $1, and they work great. You can put paint on them and it doesn't seep through. It almost feels like a wax paper, but I thought it was a really great idea by Dollar Tree. To go over the main rolling section of our rolling pin, I'm going to be using 2 different types of scrapbooking paper from Hobby Lobby. I always get mine when it's on sale for $1. So this first one has lots of fall words on it, so I thought it was cute and would go with the plain wood handles. And I just used a piece of tape because I know that I'm definitely going to be using these rolling pins again during Christmas time. So you could use hot glue, but I like to make my DIYs easy to kind of take apart so then I can repurpose them for other holidays. So I just attached it with a little bit of clear tape. You'll also notice that I went in and just dry brushed the handles with a dark brown color to make our rolling pins look a little bit more distressed. And with the rolling pin that has that blue agave color in the handles, I'm using this print because it had a blue truck and I thought that matched really well. And again, I'm just attaching everything with a couple pieces of clear tape. To embellish my rolling pins, I'm going to be using jute, and I decided to make a double bow, and for some reason, while I was doing this, I couldn't remember how to make a double bow with only one tail, so I ended up just doing a double bow, and it's going to have double tails. I go back in later and I cut off those extra tails. I have remembered since, so I'll make sure to show that in another video. I know I've shown it before, but I just forgot when I was doing this. And our second bow I actually made into a triple bow, and that's going to be going on the other rolling pin, and I just cut off the other tails so it looks like I did it the correct way and made a triple looped bow. Then on the ends of our rolling pin, I'm going around 3 times on the brown colored one, and I'm going around 4 times on that blue colored one. and I'm just putting this on the far left side of our rolling pin and hot gluing it to the scrapbooking paper. And again, I'm doing the exact same thing on our second rolling pin and then hot gluing the bow right on top of the jute that we just laid down. And as a bit of an extra embellishment and to add a little bit of that orange fall color, I took, I'm not even sure what this is called, some sort of floral pick that was in the fall section at the Dollar Tree, and I just cut off a couple of little pieces and placed that right in the center of our bows. The last DIY in today's video is a crate that I decorated using some fun fall sayings. Here's everything that you'll need to make this on your own. For our last fall DIY, this is going to be a pretty easy and quick one. It really just requires a lot of painting. We're going to be taking one of these crates from the Dollar Tree and painting it and adding some cute fall sayings. So first off, I am taking that color that we used earlier. It's called Territorial Beige by Apple Barrel. And I'm painting the sides of our wood crate and also the bottom section of our wood crate. Then for the middle section, I'm going in with white paint. This is my white Waverly chalk paint. And then as our last one, or it'll be the top, we are taking this really pretty orange color. It's called Pumpkin by Waverly, and I'm painting this one. And it looks pretty bright, all of the colors, but I'm now going in with a dry brush and a little bit of this dark brown color from Apple Barrel. And I'm basically just dirtying up the crate. I'm going to be filling it with hay and some pumpkins or some sort of fall embellishment, so I want this to look like it was sitting out at a farm. You can write out your fall sayings with a paint pen or use letter stickers from the Dollar Tree. I ended up using vinyl, and I just placed these down on each section of the crate. And I was really loving these Dollar Tree stickers, so I'm using this sheet of stickers again. I liked this white pumpkin, so I just peeled it off and I placed it at the top part of our crate. To decorate this DIY, I filled it with a bale of straw and a bunch of little velvet pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, but I also think this would be really cute filled with utensils or napkins if you're having a fall party or just want to place it in your kitchen. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.